What is up, ticklers? Today we're going to be doing a review on my 2016 Honda CBR500R. I've owned this bike for about 10 and a half months now. I've put on just under 8,000 miles, and I figured now would be a good time to do a review since I have a lot of experience on this bike, and I've ridden a handful of other bikes in the time that I've owned this. So starting off, like I said, this is a 2016 500R. It is I want to say a 471cc parallel twin. That is a 2-cylinder dual overhead cam engine that makes about 50 horsepower and around 35 pound-feet of torque. Now, since this is a 500 and a 2-cylinder, it is not a super sport bike. It is just a sport bike. It's got more of an upright seating position as opposed to like a CBR500R would have, which is their inline-4 super sport. This is more of a comfortable ride. It's slower, a lot less powerful. It's got, you know, less than half the power, or just about half the power, I guess. But it's still a very quick bike. It'll do $110. It's limited to $110. The RPMs are fairly low. It revs out to 8,500. That's where it's limited to. The gauge goes to 10,500. So I guess we'll talk about a few things I don't like about this bike. And I really don't have many complaints so far, other than obviously it being limited. I'd like to have a little more top end, because it being limited and me having 2,000 dead RPMs that I can't use, just kind of bothers me a little bit. Also, the front brake isn't great. It is only a single disc in the front, as opposed to a dual disc that you'll find on super sports. And the brakes on this bike overall are not great. Wind protection was non-existent with the stock windshield. I put on a Puke Racing double bubble, and now I have a little bit more wind protection, but it's still not that great, or it's still not that good. But yeah, upgrades that have been done to this bike. Obviously, I have a ram mount that you can see. I just talked about my double bubble windshield. 3-finger levers, so shorty levers. It has a Yoshimura R77 carbon slip-on exhaust. TST Industries flush mounts in the front, and a Yoshimura fender illuminator kit in the back. The bike sounds pretty good for it being only a slip-on. It's not a full system, but it sounds pretty good. I might be doing a mid-pipe on it sometime in the near future, make it a little bit louder. But like I've said, I've had the bike, you know, I've put about 8,000 miles on it. I've done 2 oil changes, and coming up at the 10,000 mile mark, I'm going to be doing a full fluid flush, so I'll make a video on how to do that for you guys. But right now, like I said, this bike is quick, but it's not fast, and it's plenty quick enough for a beginner. And this was my first motorcycle that I ever bought, so you know, I got it as a starter bike, and it served that purpose very well. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to a highly undisclosed spot up here in Mexico, where I can show you guys the acceleration of this bike, because it being a 2-cylinder as opposed to a 4-cylinder that revs out, the 2 cylinders rev out lower, the 4 cylinders rev out higher. So the 2 cylinders, like this bike, have more low-end power, so it picks up off the line pretty fast for only a 500. We have made it here to Mexico. Don't worry that all these signs are in English. I promise you, I'm in Mexico. Here's the bike. Looks very good, especially for a little beginner bike. You know, some of the other beginner bikes like the Ninja 300s and stuff that take the styles from the 600s or the 636s, and they all just look like the same bike. And that's one thing I like about this, is that it's just its own bike. It doesn't really look like the 300, it doesn't look like the 1000, doesn't look like the 600. It's its own bike. And you know, I'll do a few little revs for you if you guys want to hear that. So it's got that lower grunt to it. And like I said, it is just a single disc in the front, which I would like dual disc brakes, preferably. However, I can't complain too much. You know, it's been a great bike. I've not had a single issue on it throughout 8,000 miles. And I'm gonna go ahead and do a few launches for you guys. That way you can get an idea of how fast this bike is. Now I've ridden way faster bikes than this, you know, so I'm not saying that this is a fast bike. I'm saying it's a quick bike, and it's plenty fast enough for anybody, really. Like, you don't need something faster than this unless you want to go fast, which I enjoy going fast. So I'll probably get something faster. Other bikes that are like this that I've ridden are the Ninja 400 as well as the Ninja 650. I've ridden both of those, and both of them are kind of the same. They have like that weird smashed together cluster. The windshield comes up to like right here. It's a very tall, weird looking windshield. The bars are narrow, and it doesn't feel as good as these clip-ons on the CBR. But anyway, alright, we'll do a quick little 0 to 60 right here. I'm not going to put a timer up. You guys are just going to have to see how fast it is. We'll do one more going back the other way. And then we'll get out of here. And this bike is very easy to launch too. Like, I've ridden, you know, 600, 750 Super Sports that are just not... They're just more scary to launch is all. Like, they're not hard to launch necessarily, but they are scarier to launch because the front wheel will come up way easier on one of those bikes. Anyway, let's go ahead and get another 0 to 60 right here. Alright, there you go. We'll go ahead and leave it on that 0 to 80 run, and let's go ahead and take this turn to cross back into state lines of Texas, and we will continue on with our evaluation of this motorcycle. So like I said, I've ridden Yamaha FZ6R, which is kind of like this bike, but it's an inline 4 600 from the R6. I've ridden a Kawasaki Ninja 400 as well as the Kawasaki Ninja 650, which are both parallel twins, you know, starter bikes. And I have no like complaints against those bikes. I've only ridden them for like a few minutes at a time. I rode the 650 of one of my friends who let me ride it, and then he later on got a CBR500R that he let me ride as well, and that bike was a blast to ride. And then I rode the Ninja 400 at the stunt lot one day whenever I swapped bikes, and I was trying to help a guy who wanted to learn how to wheelie it. I was trying to teach him how to wheelie that bike, that bike was kind of weird to wheelie. It did not feel like my bike at all. But, you know, this is a beginner bike. It's not a super fast bike. However, it's very comfortable to ride. You know, I don't get a lot of pressure on my wrist and my back like I do riding a Super Sport. I can ride this thing for hours on end. I've done 300 miles consecutively on this bike without taking a single stop. I average about 50 miles per gallon the way I ride, 50 to 60. However, you can average up to 100 miles a gallon on this bike. So it is a very or a very economical bike, I should say, as opposed to Super Sport, where you're going to be averaging around 35 to 40 miles per gallon. So in my opinion, this is one of the best starter bikes that you can get for yourself. The only one that I've ridden that was a starter bike that I liked a lot, which I didn't even have that much time to ride, was an FZ6R that a guy I met let me ride. And I just took it up and around like a parking lot just to get like an impression of the bike, because I was thinking about getting one as my next bike to make a street fighter. Either that or an FC1. I have a lot of ideas for bikes coming to the channel, and also have a lot of ideas just for non-bike related content coming to the channel as well. And I really appreciate all the support that you guys have been showing on those videos. At first I started posting them, I didn't know whether or not it was going to be taken very well, and I'm glad that you guys are taking it good and that you don't mind me posting that stuff, because I do want to you know, stray away from only motorcycle related content. I feel like that's just a rabbit hole that I don't want to get myself stuck in. I would like to be able to do a little bit more and have a little more freedom with it. With that being said, I want to thank every single one of you new subscribers to the channel ever since my last video. Welcome all of you. I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope you are here to stay. Another channel announcement that I have is I'm going to probably, more than likely, be straying away from posting twice a week for the next coming months to only posting every single Thursday, because I am getting back into the gym and I have been devoting a lot of my time to bulking up, get a little bit more size on me, and, you know, going to the gym and working out every single day. So I might start only posting on Thursdays starting next week. We'll see how that goes, because with the work that I do and the gym and everything else that I have to do, I don't have a whole lot of time to go out, film these videos for you guys, edit them, and drop twice a week. So I hope you guys understand. I will be returning to 2 posts a week in the future. However, for now, just temporarily, I will more than likely only be posting 1 video a week. Going back on topic of this, I'm going to leave you with these final words. I do think that this is one of the best starter bikes that you can get if you're looking at a parallel twin bike. It is very comfortable. I'm 6'3", and I fit on this very well. I feel like I'm not crammed. You know, I've ridden a few bikes where I was very crammed. I fall right in line with this bike. It's got plenty of power, plenty of speed for a beginner or an intermediate, as well as an experienced rider. It's very flickable. It's a lot of fun to throw around on turns. And I think it is overall a great bike, just overall. You know, it covers a lot of categories. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing, helping the channel grow. I'm trying to hit that 1,000 sub mark by the end of the year. So if you guys could help out and share the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. And until the next video, ride safe and have a good one.